Well, I don't think there's any doubt about that, and it was kind of about redemption because the 1981 team was really good. I mean, you went down there to the Fiesta Bowl and spanked around Southern California. One of the guys that for Southern Cal that played that day, Bruce Matthews, got eaten up by Leo Wisniewski in that game. Big time.
Absolutely. He sure did. Yeah, I thought the 81 team, as far as the individual players, were probably better than us talent-wise. But we had a great chemistry amongst ourselves on that 82 team, and guys like Walker Lee and then Kenny Jackson and his brother Roger and just Todd and all of the guys that stepped up and made some great plays for us. I think that was special because we had a real bonding amongst ourselves.
What was the defense like, Walk? I know we always talk about the offense, but I mean, I know the defense had to be a special group.
Yeah, we played, we played a very, very good defense. Jerry was one of those defensive coordinators. He game planned according to the talent that was on the other team. And what he was able to do was match our talent with their talent, and that gave us an advantage because we knew we had the type of ball players that were able to compete with the ones that they had, and that gave us an opportunity to come out on top for the majority of the time.
And there they have it. You guys have had a golf outing and got together a little bit. How nice is that to go back and just see old teammates, old friends? I mean, you were together so much when you're playing. How special is it? I'd love to hear all three of you talk about that a little bit.
I know for me it's been great to get back. I haven't been back in quite some time. The last time I was here, my son was a freshman, which was about 6 years ago. And he was here, and I came up here to help work the camps, but I didn't have the opportunity to see a lot of the players, whereas now I have that opportunity to be around the players after not seeing a lot of them for over 20 years, and that's been a great experience for me to see how they're doing, seeing their families and some of their sons that could possibly be playing here at Penn State. You know, it's just great to be back and be around the, people that you know, your friends, and were there for so long and that you played with and you built relationships with.
And I know, Kenny, you've been excited all week to see these guys.
Oh, yes. It's exciting. The thing that I miss the most is the locker room. You know, you play and the people see you, and we enjoy playing a lot. But the locker room is so special. That's what you miss. The joking, the times we spent. I know Curt and Todd spent a lot of time with my brother and I because we were in the same dorm. And spending time with Ashley, Walk, we had a lot of fun. A lot of frat parties back then when we spent a lot of time together. It was good, clean fun, and we were all excited. We played good football, but that's what I missed, the locker room.
Yeah, I echo that same thing. It was more of the camaraderie, more of the games that we played in, but just hanging around the locker room, getting to know each other, growing up, sharing our victories, and also, dealing with the defeats as well. So it was an all-around great experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world.
One thing I talked about earlier this week with our folks as we were talking about putting the 1982 team into perspective was, unrewarded, unrecognized. You go back to 1968 when Joe Paterno was his third year, they ran the table, they were undefeated. 1969, Penn State undefeated again, but then President Nixon said the winner of the Arkansas-Texas game would be the national champion. Joe Paterno very unhappy. 1973, New Year's Eve, Notre Dame beats Alabama. Tom Clements out of McKees Rocks throws out of the end zone of all places, and Notre Dame beats Alabama, and Penn State goes undefeated in 73. The year John Cappelletti won the Heisman, he said they won the Paterno poll, and that's more important than any other ones. Then the close finish in 78, the 79 Sugar Bowl. Mike Gubin knocks Barry Krause out, but Krause kept him out of the end zone. He was inches short. And then, 1981, Clemson goes on to win the national championship as you guys were upset. And then finally, got through against Georgia. Talk to us about Georgia week. It's fun to reminisce. It's time travel with you guys a little bit. Going off of that field right there, I mean, Georgia was a heavy favorite. Curt, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Herschel Walker, and they didn't realize how good you were. Stop, start's the greatest 9-yard run I've ever seen.
Well, thank you very much. Obviously, Herschel Walker was the Heisman Trophy winner at that particular time. And, I didn't necessarily look at it as a challenge with regards to dealing with him as much as, the team in general and getting to that point of winning the national championship. So I wasn't really concerned much about what he was doing. We were concerned about what we were going to do, and that was to win the ball game. I will say this in closing, that we heard a lot of rhetoric from the Georgia Bulldogs, and I think you will all attest to that, but we just called a lot of bragging, I guess, somewhat obnoxious to a certain degree with regards to the Georgia Bulldogs. So by the time the game had started, we were pretty much ready to go. And we were glad and fortunate to win that thing. I mean, we all battle and we strive to win a national championship, but that was a great experience.
Walker, I remember Frank Broyles during the telecast. Keith, I can't believe Penn State's doing this fine Georgia football team. He let his Southern roots come out a little bit. But what were you guys as a defense thinking? I mean, Walker's one of the greatest players. There's no question about that in college football history, and was a spectacular player, especially at Georgia. But you guys had a confident swagger to you. You said, you know what, I don't think this guy's going to take us out like they're saying.
Right. And again, you know, I point to Jerry Sandusky. Jerry Sandusky, he was the one that game planned for that national championship game, playing against Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker won the Heisman Trophy that year, and we knew that was their strength in their offense, was Herschel running the ball right, Herschel running the ball left. And we keyed on that, and we were able to take away their offensive passing game, and that allowed us to shut down and focus on Herschel Walker. And we were able to do that, and he got over 100 yards, but we ended up winning the game.
And Kenny, too, Todd Blackledge, I think, very underrated that year. You know, as far as the way he could deliver, you know, the 1982 team is very interesting. It is the first national champion in college football history to pass for more yards than they ran, ironically. You know, they always say it's so conservative. I think it's the uniforms that disguises it a little bit. When you grow up in Columbus, Ohio, following like Ohio State, I thought you guys were on run and shoot, okay, with Woody Hayes. But Kenny, that is a stat few people know about the 82 club, pass for more yards than run.
We had great leaders, you know, and I mean, you could see with Todd, and you also can see with Curt and Walker here, we had great leaders, and that's what teams really need. A lot of teams got a lot of talent, but the difference, leaders. Not only that, but Greg Garrity, another wideout, Mike McCluskey, who was a dynamic tight end. We came out the first drive or so and threw the ball a lot more than we ran.
Sure did.
Threw them off balance. And at that time in college football, it's not like today's kids where kids throw the ball all over the lot. Totally different game. But having a guy like a Greg Garrity make such a big play on the cover of Sports Illustrated, not only changed his life, but changed Penn State. And it was such a team effort. You just didn't know. And people didn't get upset. Curt might get yards, I might get a pass. Walker wasn't worried about what his stats were. That's a little different than it is today.
Yeah.
Well, you are so right, because you talk about Garrity, he stretches out, and that was the knockout punch. That was game, set, match right there, wasn't it?
Absolutely, it was.
Sure was. It took a game that was relatively close, and it gave us the edge. And we knew going into that game it was going to be a tough game. We respected the Georgia Bulldogs. We didn't overly do it, but we respected them quite a bit. And we knew what we had to do, and we knew what they were about. And our objective at that particular time was to go in and win and to share, you know, the national championship amongst ourselves.
Gentlemen, that's my college era in the 80s and things, and it's been a privilege of mine to share memories. It's hard to believe 25 years have passed. One of the great special teams in Penn State history, and it's great seeing both of you, and we really are delighted to have you both.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.